Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. I'm looking at these as a first-time site visitor. Even though I've seen your sites, I want to see how they're working, the layout, usability, and whether or not you have all the content that was required. So let's jump right in. All right. I love the image, and so far it's really easy to read. Make sure that this is for everyone. If you have something like Star Cinematography Lab and that's the name of the company, make sure that you have that registered with your state so that it actually is. You also don't want, if you don't have a website that has this, for example, Star Cinematography Lab as a domain, you don't really want to put it out there because somebody will realize that you don't actually own a domain for that if you don't. And they can purchase that domain for $20. And then when you want to buy it, they're assuming that you'll want it. They can charge you $800 up to as much as they want, as you're willing to pay to get that. So you don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, and let all of this be open on the web, because there are people who will do that. So let's look at this. I love the about. This image, that painting has to come out. You're going to go into your Wix editor, and the icon on the left that has the letter A and the color drop, you'll just click that and you'll go to change background. You'll select color and then select white, and that will make it transparent. You won't have that template image there anymore. All right. This gets a little stacked. Maybe you just say film stills. I also feel like this is a smaller font than this. Okay, so think about that. Okay, easy to read. This looks exciting. I want to see the story. Close this up. This won't have an apostrophe for works. You'll just say my works or my work or just works. You don't need to say my, but remove the apostrophe. All right, make sure this is not a home number, that it's a free Google Voice, so you're not handing that out to people. And make sure that you link up to your sites and not the Wix social media. Otherwise, everything is really clear and easy to read. So let's check out the mobile. Okay. Okay. You might want to break that up into 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs. You have it 2 here, but this one's kind of long, the first one. Yeah. Okay. These images are looking a little dark. Keep that in mind when you're creating your stills. That one's a little better. This is a little washed out, or it's got some hot spots. That one's a little dark. This one is blown out. So just be careful. This is looks about right as far as the, grayscale, and yeah, that's good. Close all this up. All right. Okay, terrific start. I like that you have the sufficient contrast. Well done. Okay, Michael. Might want to align this over here, bring it over so it's here, or center it with that. That might be the better choice there. Just the right amount of content, great photo. Nice. Make sure this is all centered. Make sure you have a contact form. That is a requirement for this website. Okay. You may want a heading that says, that one's okay because it has your name. This one has contact. Might want to bring that down just a little. No, let's leave it like that. But this might want to come over. I think that might be a little easier. Let's take a look at the mobile. Okay, so make sure that you have the order that you want with your descriptions and your videos on your mobile. Maybe close that up a little bit. Maybe center this information, but you do need to have the form, so you'll see how it works after that. Good job with your project page, though. Well done. All right. Great start. Terrific job. Let's look at another. Okay. You may want this to be one. This has, it looks like it probably has 3 columns, 1, 2, and 3. You can select that, manage columns, and see if you can just have one, if that's what's going on here. A little space there. And make sure you've got sufficient contrast with all your versions of your navigation. And let's make sure you're using the same font size throughout. Be sure this is a Google Voice, a free Google Voice. Okay, make sure that you've got some padding here, remember. It's better if we don't have images on top of images. This would be fine by itself without something behind it. Let's be careful about having a drop shadow or the black on top of the white. It's usually the other way around. Okay. Let's use the same heading font, just one type, like this one. A little space here, and maybe a little space there, and equal spacing vertically as well, there and there. If you can, try and get all your videos the same size and your images. Okay, so that will organize a little bit better. This looks like it's a little larger font, I do believe, just slightly. All right. This is 27 points, and that's 25. So make sure those are the same throughout. All right, that's nice and clear. Okay, let's check the mobile. All right, if you're going to have a capital cinematographer, also have the others be capitalized. We want to limit, however, how many skills we're showing. You can talk about these other skills in your about paragraphs, but you don't have to have them in your header. You want your main skill set described in your header. And if you're a cinematographer, people generally accept that you're probably going to be pretty good with photography too. Let's center that. You may want to center all of this, I think, here for your mobile. It's not so much over there, it's fine, but, or here too, think about that. I'm going to remove that. And try and use a sans serif, that is a font that does not have the strokes on the letters. Something like this is a sans serif, this is a sans serif. Using this for your about will make it easier to read. Make sure you have your image and then your description and then your image and description. It does this all the time for mobile. It'll, reflow things. All right, great job. Nice color, pretty good contrast, a little simplifying up here. Well done. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, Sid. Okay. I'm not sure photo editor is one word, is it? It might be. Double check that. I think these are 2 words. Okay, this is 1 word. Maybe bring this down just a little bit. So it's a little more centered here. Enough space here and here are the same. Nice lighting, good job. Let's look at what else. Okay, do we have... Okay, we do want them to be able to control the audio, so make sure it doesn't auto play. Let them be able to turn it on and off. We do want descriptions. They might be in your mobile. You can take Secured by Wix, Powered and Secured by Wix off. Make sure you link up and remove anything that isn't yours, and make sure we're not linking to Wix, okay? All right, bio and contact. Okay, good. Make sure we always have really sharp images. As a cinematographer, that's crucial. Okay, all right. And you have your YouTube, but let's either get rid of the others, and I do encourage you to have a LinkedIn. All right, let's check the mobile. Let's make sure we're not cropping important body parts like our heads. Our head, we don't have more than one. Let's remove this and just have, simplify this a little bit, bringing it up. You might want to put a little space between these paragraphs. You may need to take a paragraph out to reduce scrolling. Okay. All right. I've seen this. All right. So make sure we're not cropping letters. We don't want to crop body parts that are important, lettering, or logos. That's something we always want to pay attention to. Okay. Your about is linking, your bio is linking to your about, which means this is your portfolio. You have your bio and account. Make those 2 separate instead. Okay. And, or at least, name that bio. Right? Let's be consistent there. And then contact you. Okay? All right. Nice work. I'm excited to see what everybody's doing next week. Make sure you allow plenty of time because it will make it less stressful for you. And it will be more fun. Okay, so this one, okay. There was one I saw that had underlining for a header. There was a few back. And let's see, which one was it? But what you want to do is when you do have something underlined, it tends to feel like it's a link and that it's clickable. So make sure we're not doing that. All right. I'm not sure which one it was. I meant to say something when I saw it. I think I thought it was this one, but I'm not seeing it, so maybe it wasn't. Okay, so okay. This, let's not underline because, like I said, it feels like a link. And right now, it's not linking to anything, so be mindful of that. All right. You may want to make this the same size box too. That might work for you. And consistent spacing. All right, vertical spacing. Okay, jumping right back. Owen, good job. You seem to have everything here. Good. Videographer and post. I know exactly what you do. When we put bullets, we would be left aligned. So let's just take those bullets out. You can have this centered, but let's take those bullets out. Good photo. Yeah, take the bullets out. You can edit this down a little bit if you want. Nice. Bullets out. Move that. Okay, and clear enough logo. Make sure you're actually linked up to your socials and remove anything else. Let's check out your about. Okay. This is a little bit deep. So what that means is that we have to scroll to get to the important part. I am curious about the Wix Harmony. So let's see. As long as you're not using AI, it will not set you up for success. So be really careful about that. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just reminding everybody. Okay. Be sure that that's a free Google. All right. Great. Nice. Okay, let's look at the mobile. Super clean. You have everything that you're asked to have. And let's see, except these. You might want to center that and just put a couple there. Make sure you're using the same size font. Sometimes numbers are a little unique. Make this bigger and centered in your mobile. This will come up here. I would make this a hamburger style like this throughout, and so that it's not like this. Just use this to link. Close that up. You might want just a little less, just 5 or 6 lines less to reduce the scrolling. Okay, all right. Great job, everybody. I really like where you're heading, and before long, you're just going to have such a great site, I think. All right, Elizabeth. Okay. Good job here. A little bit of space here before we get into this list. And yeah, close that up a little bit. make sure we're using the same size font throughout. Double check it. And we've got a couple of fonts going on. We've got this font, and which I believe this is the same one, this, and I think what you want, I'm not sure you need all of that, but you know, repetition isn't bad when it's your name. I wouldn't make this italic. And let's see. Possibly I would bring this up here and put this underneath it in the same font. So you'd only have this font instead of this one. But this would come up here, and yes, it's going to come over here, and that's going to come under here, the same size, and see how that works out. Serif fonts are harder to read, so keep that in mind. Let's see. Garamond. Okay, so there's 3 different fonts right there. Okay, you're using that one. Yeah, so just stay with 2. This works. Okay. Yeah. So you've got a few. You could also put your name up here in this, in the center there. And put Visual Storyteller over here, but you would have this double, so you wouldn't have to put that here. You just put about, because your name would be here. There's a couple of ways to do it, but you could simplify it a little. So this page, okay. Try and center all of this. This appears to be let's see. Okay. Another font. Okay. All right, so the easiest thing to do, there are 2 ways to correct the navigation. Let's bring this up. And probably you want a heading that says contact. So the ways to do this, right now we select portfolio, but it's not going to your portfolio. So you can either take the content that is on this page, all of this, and copy it to your portfolio section. You can do that. Or you can take this portfolio up here and make sure it links right here. You will have an anchor line. In the week 3 video under announcements, it will be a troubleshooting video. Let me know if it's not in there. I'll send you another video that shows you how to link it to where when you click this, it goes straight here. Okay. But like I said, the other thing to do is to paste this here. The contact, you've got 2 contacts. So you only need 1. So this either needs to link to, again, the contact right here, with that anchor line that is across here. It would link to that, the contact, or you need to take this content and put the content here. So, because that's where it's linking, all right? Possibly just a little more info here, and you could just take it out of the bottom here. All right, let's look at the mobile. Okay, great image. Yeah, we don't need the stacking here, the double, just because it's so close together, you know, one right after the other. Okay. Yeah, so you could have it smaller that says storyteller and have it in your header up here, and it would be on every page. That would be the first thing I would try. Okay, all right, but you have all the elements that you need. It's just a matter of linking them up and usability, simplifying to 2 fonts, and you know, a little bit of tweaking. All right, great job, everybody. I'm excited to see where you're going to be next week after you implement these changes. You can, before you do that, you can duplicate your site, and then you'll feel comfortable going through and making all your edits. All right. All right. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can pop those into the assignment feedback, and I will get back to you absolutely as soon as I can. All right. Great job, everybody.